Yesterday, we began a series on the topic of anxiety. We looked yesterday at what the Bible refers to anxiety as. You'll see it in the words careful, meaning full of care. You'll see it in the word troubled, or fret, or take thought, or doubtful, and a few other words. But the Bible does talk about anxiety. We see that it's a serious issue today, that we defined it as being a concern respecting some event which disturbs the mind and keeps it in a state of painful uneasiness. Many people are on anxiety medications or full of anxiety and troubled about. But to the believer today, I want you to know that God doesn't want us to have to live that way, and that many times it can be avoided by approaching it biblically. We saw the results of anxiety yesterday. And number one, that it showed a lack of faith. If God promised He's going to take care of you, then He will. And we have to believe that. And then we ended yesterday by looking in Luke chapter number 10, when Mary and Martha received the Lord into their home. Mary sat there at His feet, and Martha started getting busy doing all these things. And then she went to the Lord complaining and said, "Don't you care that I'm doing all this stuff and my sister's doing nothing?" But Jesus said these words in Luke 10:41. Jesus answered and said unto her, "Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things." Martha was full of care and was troubled. She was anxious about many things, Jesus said. He's going to approach her anxiety. And I want to present to you that a second result of being an anxious person is this, that it shows a lack of a vision. You say, a lack of a vision of what? Well, He said this. Jesus went on to say this, "One thing is needful. Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her." He said, "Martha, you're full of anxiety. Here's what's needful. You need to do what Mary's doing." What was Mary doing? She was sitting at Jesus' feet and enjoying His presence, basking in His love. Oh, the joy at sitting at Jesus' feet. We're to keep our eyes focused upon the author and the finisher of our faith. Martha was careful and troubled. Her anxiety took her vision away of how great God is. Mary just sat at His feet and just enjoying His very presence, while Martha was full of anxiety. She was focused on one area, getting the house picked up and something to eat. But she was focused on this one area and missed the great opportunity that was around her. She allowed her anxiety to steal her joy. Imagine this, to be in a room with Jesus, but your heart so far from Him. That's where Martha was. She sat there in the very presence of the Lord, but enjoyed none of it. That's what happens to people that are full of anxiety. They'll come to church and get nothing out of it. They'll read their Bible and get nothing out of it. They'll try to pray and it doesn't seem to be working, because they're so focused on this one issue that they've yet to give to God. And this anxiety begins to transform their mind and push it away from the joy and the presence and the love of God. And so anxiety will rob us of our joy and rob us of our peace, because we're not focused upon the Lord. We don't have faith as what God's going to do what He said He would do. I'll give you one more thing before we close today. It shows a sin problem. You say, sin? Yeah. In Romans chapter number 14 and verse number 23, listen what it says. "And he that doubteth is damned if he eat, because he eateth not of faith. For whatsoever is not of faith is sin." Now, in this passage of Scripture, it's talking about whether you should eat meat that's been, given and done in the name of some false god or something. But the fact is this, that He said this, if you don't have faith in it, if you're not confident this is right, then don't do it. And when we get full of anxiety, what we're doing is we're showing that, if we doubt and we're always wondering and scared, whatsoever not of faith is sin. If it's not of faith, it is sin. Anxiety is operating without faith. You may say, well, that's just the way I am. Well, then fix it. Because the way we are is also to be sinning in many other ways. But it needs to be corrected. So today, if you're full of anxiety, number one, and we'll pick up here tomorrow, understand it shows a lack of faith. Number two, it's showing a lack of vision. You're allowing it to separate you, and you're missing the joy of Jesus Christ. And number three, it just might be showing a sin problem. Today, confess your anxiety to God and ask God to help you and find deliverance.